Okay, welcome to Here for the Horses. Glad you're here for the horses. Oh, Wanda wants in. We better let her in. She'll just keep knocking if she doesn't. So cool stuff. One, this is our last week of Journey Through the Horse. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Okay. So, you guys did awesome. Hi, Paige. How's it going? You guys did awesome on the hind leg range of motion. What I did discover though is that, and I've felt like this before, but I've never pursued it, is that I feel like I need to train the hind leg range of motion better because I keep kind of repeating the same things. And so it just showed me that I need to train better. Okay. So I came up with something today. Okay. And what I want to do is I have them uploading, but it's taking a really long time. I tried to get them. Leanne, your hair looks awesome. Oh my gosh. You look like a supermodel. Um, what I tried to do was think I thought of something as I was going to bed last night actually about a better way that I can teach this hind leg range of motion. Okay, so let me see. I know I have it pulled up um on my I wasn't able to download it, but I do have it pulled up in my photos. So let me see if I can get that done. But I want to show it to you just because I think I might have done something that actually helps figure it out, which is always good. Here we go. Okay. Let me share screen with you guys first. And then I also did a video for Wanda that I just got loaded. Um, so I'm cautiously letting people people in now. Before I was just like admit all, admit all. Okay. Um, let's take a look at that video and you guys can also watch this on the coaching community page, but I wanted to show you tonight what we did. So let me share. Did I do that yet? Hold on. Oops, Stephanie wants in. Okay. Stephanie, yes, I'm sorry to hear that also. All the videos are always up, so you can actually go back through the years and watch the videos of the past journey through the horse. Okay, so it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. Are we shared here? What's going on? Can you guys see my screen like this? I'm not able to show full window. Okay, okay, good. Thanks. So now,
I
I'll do
can't see
that.
anything. I can't see
Okay,
your
hold on.
screen.
Can you see those photos?
No. I just see you talking.
No? Okay, that's not good. Hold
See
on.
you.
It's like my share button disappeared now. Because I went through a bunch of stuff to make sure that that didn't happen again, so I wonder if I messed it up. Because now it's not down at the bottom, my stuff. Settings. Let's see if I can share. Enable waiting room, da 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 da. Da. Display and controls.
It was $120. You can't find a rug for that. Like,
Reactions.
darn it. What do you
Okay,
think?
maybe I won't.
Dinner there or do it tomorrow?
What we said. That's just mess, Jess. I'll just
Get that one out of the first. Throw it
doot
out.
doot. All right, hold on.
This table needs to be moved. Why don't we move this table down?
Okay, just muted myself in the meantime. All right. Well, I think I did something to make it so now I can't share my screen. Oh, da, 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 preview, share screen. Okay, forget it. Well, it will be on the it'll be on the coaching community page, but there were two things that I found were a problem. And one of them was that bringing the leg forward, what I've decided to change for the coaching part is I want you to think of your hand as a hook. Okay? It's a hook. And I want you to slide your hand down the back. Okay, let me look. I want you to slide your hand down the back of the leg and hook the fetlock and then back your body up. Okay. So what I'm seeing a lot is that you guys are grabbing the fetlock and then trying to kind of move the leg with your upper arm. But what I want you to do is hook the fetlock and then move your body. Okay. So we'll try, I'll show you that in the the coaching community. Okay. Um, the other video I did was for Wanda because for whatever reason,
Oh, yes.
Ranger's hind legs would not release. Okay, so what that told me is that we have to get a little bit more aggressive with how to get those hind legs to release. Now, sometimes when muscles won't release, I will I'll consider that a nutritional issue. So if the muscles do not function properly, I go something's up with nutrition and I will generally recommend a hair test analysis. Okay, because that's what I did for Gambler, Amy's horse. Because I could just tell like he's just not, the body's not responding. I don't feel like that's the case with Ranger. I think the case with Ranger is that his hamstrings are very muscular and they've gotten kind of locked down. And then when you try to massage them, they're so thick that it's like it only affects the outer muscles, like kind of the outer part, but it's not actually releasing the entire muscle. And so then even when you stretch them, it's like you get kind of this, but you don't get this. You know, like it doesn't give. So I gave I gave a video to her, but I want all of you to watch it because it's some of the more advanced stuff that I use to get those legs to release. So I talked a little bit about the give and take. Okay, so give and take, and I've talked a little bit about that. And then I also talked a little bit about I talked a little bit about massaging deeper and harder. Okay, because you're gonna have to break those muscles up. So, you know, so I like the idea of warming it up, but if your horse has very thick muscles, you're gonna have to kind of get in there more. Okay. Go ahead, Wanda.
A couple of things. I do a blood panel on him every 6 months. Just because he does tend to have some weird things. He was low in calcium about this time last year. Well, year and a half
Oh,
ago. Right before Christmas, his hematocrit was low. Um, yeah, so I do watch that, and I choose the blood panel over the hair because I get a longer panel, right?
okay.
I get like 18 things instead of just the short list that DePaulo does. But I'm open to that too. Oh, I got a cat. The other thing he is big. He is just big.
Yeah.
So when I do the massage stuff, I am using the pebbled gloves, just because I feel like it gives me a little more. And he will come and ask for that. You know, he's always backing up to you and saying, "Oh, here, yeah, you know." So I have been doing that instead of just my hand because, you know, I'm only as strong as I am.
Yeah.
But I was wondering about one of those things that were on Facebook at Christmas time, the
I know.
multi-head red light thing,
I
because
know.
he's so big. And I was wondering if
Yeah.
that would help
So
or
Paige is like, nope. So Paige, you
okay.
have some experience with that?
Where are you, Paige?
Oh, do I have to unmute you? See, I did a bunch of stuff, you guys. Hold on. I was like, we can't ever have that happen again. Hold on, I'll find you. Let me unmute you. Ask to unmute. How are you able to unmute? Oh, maybe Paige can't, because I just asked if you could.
Do you want me to
Yeah, no,
There
mute?
you
I
go. She
got it.
got it.
Sorry.
She
Okay.
got it.
When you're in some views, my cursor goes away, so I
I know,
can't.
I hear you.
So Wanda, I bought one of those I did before I started this class, and my experience is it just doesn't give you the depth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your fingers are better.
Oh, okay.
And so you get the vibrating and it seems okay, but you're miles ahead with doing it yourself with your fingers. My
Okay.
opinion only.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, and what I was actually going to say to that, and it's nice because it goes along exactly with what she's saying, is if you need assistance, I have one of those guns, that the Equa gun, is that what it was called? And it was just a handheld gun that you see them a lot in Costco, or I don't know if you guys have Costco or whatever, Amazon. And it has the ball at the end of it, and you can use, and that's great to start with, but you have to finish with your fingers and your hands and
Okay.
your hands. So that might be an option to, I call it a thumper. Yeah, totally. That might be an option to start off with and then finish with massage. That might help. But he's a big boy. So, I mean, honestly, you'd probably be better starting off just kind of pounding and then go from there. You know what I mean?
Okay. And
But yeah,
it's
it's an
interesting
option.
because he knows he's tight.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he's really receptive to me because sometimes I stand on the mounting block and start on the top and you know, we're trying stuff, but this has always been his bugaboo. But you stand behind him. I mean, he is just big and
I don't
it's
know
hard
why,
for
but
him.
he seemed bigger. I was like, is she getting bigger? What's happening? Is Wanda getting smaller? What's going on here?
I
Yeah.
wish. The other thing I started doing is I've got a whole thing out there of all sorts of different trail obstacles and whatnot. And I set up just a straight walkover of 8 poles, 3 feet apart. And we just go out there 15 minutes a day. And if that's all we do that day, that's all we do. And we're just walking through there because I think that real repetitive, same height, not trying to do anything fancy, just trying to get him to stretch a little bit on his own. So, but
Totally.
yeah,
And
I
also,
just saw that you put that video up. I'll go
yeah,
back and look at it
yeah, no worries.
because it's like it was a little different from the first video. And I'm sorry it's so long, but it just, I'm trying to do it multiple times to see if he will let go, and it's just not
Yeah,
happening.
and he didn't, right?
No,
So
no.
so yeah, Georgia is big and has the potential to get like that. So she responded really well to the two different things that I told you to do. So you
Okay.
should be able to see a difference for that. And then, send me a video too, because I definitely want him to get that taken care of.
And I don't know if you recall when the three of us did the rotating one-on-one thing. This
Hmm.
is where he got hung up too. I mean, you can see that spot in the upper neck, like a C2, where he's pretty big also, but it was the hind leg range of motion that it's just hard for him. So,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think that Wyoming needs to be on my tour schedule at some point in time. So let's just do it. I'll work them boys over. You didn't just warn them
Yeah,
I'm
I think
coming.
that was what Jeremy said. He watched the first video and he said, "You have just got to get in the truck and put him in the trailer and go." So,
Be awesome.
if you can even get to Eastern Washington, we
Oh,
would
I
make
can get
that.
to Eastern Washington.
Okay. Well,
I
just
have
get there.
Spokane and Wenatchee on my schedule.
Okay.
So,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, we'll make the hike because I kind of have a thing on both of them that, I need a little more help with.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Jennifer, what
Thanks,
you
Erin.
got? Yeah,
Okay.
you're welcome.
Hmm. Hey, well, first of all, I think we all want to know what you're drinking.
Yeah, okay. So, my husband makes these espresso martinis that are just, I've never been a drinker, but I was like, those espresso martinis sound good because guys, I'm a coffee person. And then he made one and I was like, oh no. And so I've drank more in the last like year than I ever have in my life combined, to the point where I was like, all right, Erin, enough. You need to really chill out. They're so good though. And he makes food really good too. And I'm like, all right, we gotta stop. Stop being
Well, we
so
often
busy
see
making
him
stuff.
cooking in the background.
I
He's not there
know.
tonight, but
I know. He will be. He will.
okay. So
Yeah.
anyway, this talking about that Wanda's horse and just the tightness and the sheer size and trying to get in there deep. Um, I it brings up the question I have had this past week is working with a horse that has been diagnosed with a muscle issue, a muscle disease. And so I'm looking at PSSM.
Yeah.
I've just learned about MFM. And if there is a physiological thing going on in those muscles that how what how do we help that? I mean, I'm guessing we've got to get really deep in those muscles. I mean, have you experience with these horses?
So yeah, PSSM for sure. A lot of horses have that. I haven't looked into the other one that you mentioned very much, but stimulating the muscles is always a good thing because it wakes them up and asks them to function better. Okay, it asks them to function. So same with like even scar tissue. If a horse has scar tissue, you can't influence the scar tissue itself. Some people will say that they can, but that's outside of the realm of massage, in my opinion. But we kind of had a week of like scar tissue stuff where we were talking about, realigning the tissues and getting them to function the way that they're supposed to. So if there's a piece of scar tissue, that's fine. You may not be able to influence that, but you want to influence all the muscles around it and get those muscles around it to be healthy, one, and stay healthy, two. Okay, so with PSSM, depending on the situation, my border horse actually had that. Okay, so um, one, exercise is really important for some of them. Nutrition is really important. But yeah, getting their muscles, one, massage helps horses feel better. Okay. So that's always important. And then massaging the muscles kind of wakes them up and tells them to move properly. Okay. Function properly. Do what you're supposed to do. So massage is always beneficial for those. I don't know of any um issues that massage is not beneficial for, like it would be a hindrance to. There might be some that I don't know of. The only time I will refuse to massage a horse is um if they have some sort of infection, bruising, cuts, some sort of weird blood issue. Okay, you got to be real careful of that because what does massage do? Moves the blood. Okay. Vaccines are, yeah, fever. Vaccines are interesting because sometimes they will have a negative reaction to vaccines, and massage is exactly what they need. So it's really kind of I went and massaged a horse once and I showed up and you couldn't touch this horse's neck. And I had massaged him before, so I was like, what's going on? And so I was trying to help him, and he was just like, just dying. And so I called the owner because I was like, man, I don't know what to like. Is there something going on with his neck on the left side? And she was like, oh, well, he had vaccines 2 days ago. And I said, okay, thank goodness, because I thought something was wrong. He's hurting a lot from that. So I postponed that massage for 2 more days. And then when I came back, he really wanted that massaged. Okay, so yeah, vaccines can be painful and have kind of a reaction, stuff like that. Um, oh, Carol, really? That's cool. Is that what you were talking about? MYHM, Jennifer? What were you saying?
No, MFM,
MFM?
myofibril myopathy.
Oh, that's for like the hind end when the leg gets pulled, right? Like normally it's in the hamstring. Is that what that is?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's in mostly in the back and the glutes.
What is
I
that,
mean,
Alexandra?
it's the same thing. It shows up the same as
Oh,
PSSM,
okay.
but it's a different physiology that's happening in the muscle that causes it.
Okay. I'll have to look
I
into
think
that because,
PSSM is, a reaction to glycogen
yeah,
storage,
yeah.
where MFM is actually a an issue with a protein called desdin.
Okay.
So, of course, the behaviors are the same, but the treatments are totally opposite.
Oh,
So,
that's tricky.
so it makes a fun trial and error
Yeah,
kind of thing.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think massage is going to be beneficial for the horse's mental well-being. And if that's all, excellent. And if it has physiological effects, and it should, that will also be beneficial, but I can't imagine it being a problem. What's up, Steph?
Yeah.
So I went to the physical therapist, with my leg and my ankle. And it wasn't a physical therapy type of appointment that I thought I was getting into. It's great. I was laid on the table, lifted my one leg, and he said, just don't let me push it down.
Oh yeah.
That particular thigh is not firing. So I laid down, and he starts pushing on different points. And I said, "What are you doing?" It feels like you're doing acupuncture, but he's actually just pushing with his fingers. We do the exact same repeat. Oh, that's so much better. And my leg's not shaking. So
I love it.
it's crazy. And, I mean, and it wasn't painful. There was no needles, and it's crazy. And so we've talked about like, I would love to be able to see how it would affect a horse, like
Yeah.
in different spots. So, it, I mean, it was deep, but it wasn't deep, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
so that's going to be your acupressure stuff. And then also, in my opinion, your stress point therapy would probably interest you a lot. And that's by Jack Meager. I think that's his name.
Okay.
Oh, dude, it's so cool. It's so cool. I would
It was
love to
cool on
do,
me.
oh, maybe I'll try to
It was
find
cool on me. It
someone.
was really cool.
Yeah, I'll try to find someone that teaches that and have them on. How about that? Ooh, I better write that down
Yeah, it's just because it's
because I
just
know his daughter
amazing.
took over that.
It's just
It's like,
amazing just as a human, like even having a boot, how much my right thigh has atrophied. So,
oh yeah, you're gonna be in
oh no,
yeah, some
the
gym
boot is
time.
now in the closet. I'm no longer going to use it
Oh
because
my,
I'm going to
she's
show in
the
a week, you
worst
guys.
patient, you guys. She's
I
the
am
worst
showing
patient.
in a
She was
week,
out
okay? I will
she was
post a
out there
picture of
working
the
her
boots
horse
that
in
I
her
cut
boot. I'm
up,
like, do you
my
have a boot
cowboy
on? What's
boots.
happened?
I
Oh
just
my
cut my
gosh.
boots up so that I can get my foot in it, and I have a very tight Velcro strap, and
You're awful. I'm calling
I'm
your
doing it.
doctor. Give me his number.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You guys, I'm doing it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, you know what? I like this conversation, and I think that we should probably find somebody that teaches stress point therapy and have them on one of these calls because that would be so amazing. And now that we're done with Journey Through the Horse after this week, we will certainly be able to do that. Okay, cool. Right on, Jen. Let's do it. I'm gonna set it up this week. I will scour the country and find somebody, okay, that is willing to say yes to us. That'll be my goal. Okay, let's talk about homework. And because I can't share my screen, I'm just going to tell you what it is. Okay. We're going to be doing tail articulations. We are going to be doing, I'm going off memory, tail pull, tail pull. And we're doing spine wiggle. Spine wiggle is not in the clinic. So I will put videos. I tried to find them and put them up already. I don't think I did. I will put the videos up in the coaching community. Okay. So pay attention to that. One thing I want to talk a little bit about, and I'm not sure if this is what's happened, but watch the video in the clinic first, please, before you do your work. Okay? Watch the video in the clinic before you do your work. And then because it seems like we've been starting to watch our own videos and then go do the work, but I want you to watch the videos in the clinic first and then do the work, or watch the videos that I put up. Okay. Carol says, I have a new gelding on a trial. He's 11-year-old quarter horse. I can feel his vertebra in the front of his neck. Ooh. So is it weird? Yeah, I mean, you don't want to feel the vertebra. You shouldn't, you should be able to palpate them, but not like feel them. Do you know what I mean? I worked on that horse in Hawaii, and the sternum in the front of the thing was like it was so odd. And yeah, that was because he was in a tie down for a very long period of time and worked very, very hard. But yeah, if they're underweight, obviously that has a factor in it. So you'll want to just send me some photos if you can, Carol, because I'd like to see what you're talking about. Um, and so sometimes when they are underweight, things like poke out more than they should and just look a little funky. It could also be tight muscles. So remember, I talk about tight muscles make a horse look thinner. Okay. They make things look like they're poking out more, like the point of hip looks like it's poking out more. Okay.
His
So yeah, just go ahead.
his previous owner said it's always been like that, but he had been sold and had had a tie down the last year. He had been barrel racing and had, some fairly extreme stuff. So I just had
Yes.
never felt that ever. You run your hand down the front of his neck and you can feel his vertebrae like they stick out. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, and that can happen because it's funny. I was just talking about somebody about just people, Isn't it funny how some people can live to 90 and they drink alcohol and they smoke cigars and they lived a crazy life. And then some people, like my mom died at 70. She never drank, never smoked, never did nothing bad in her life. And it's just interesting to me how some people can like live a really long time having these crazy lifestyles. And it's like, it's genetics. So some horses, I feel like they respond differently to stuff. So some horses can be ridden in a tie down and not have super negative effects. And then other horses, it like ruins their life. So there's always kind of that factor of, you know, I would hate to see Georgia in a tie down because she already does this. She already does that with a snaffle bit, when I'm kind of just asking her to, like she puts this pressure on herself. So then you add a tie down to that. I couldn't even imagine what would happen. But some horses are just like, peace, man. How's it going? Sure. Oh, tie down. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to hit that, so it won't affect their life as much. So you kind of have to take those situations that some horses really get negatively affected by, their environment or their tack or, how they're ridden or who they're ridden around. And then some horses, you're like, they don't care. It's fine. So yeah, it would be interesting to see so you have him on lease to see if you want him.
Yeah, just to see if, because I already have 3 unrideable mares, so
You're you're like,
I'm
geez,
hoping.
Elise. Elise.
I have high hopes. He's supposed to be safe and sane, but
Someday I'll
he's a
ride.
yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's like 16'1" hands. So he's huge. He's got very
Yeah.
long legs, and he just has such odd conformation compared to, my stocky built quarter horses.
Yeah, don't compare them though, because they're built different. They're
Oh,
built different.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But send me some photos, okay? Because
Okay.
it could be a skinny issue, a tight muscle issue, or they're built just a little odd, right?
Yeah,
So,
he's got some hollowed out spots. I'll send you a picture.
yeah, cool.
Okay,
Awesome.
thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Moon Glow Equine Massage is recommended to book me. She might be willing to talk about her experience with it. Oh, okay, cool. I tried to do the spine. Yeah, we're going to talk about the spine wiggle today for sure. Um, okay, so let's talk a little bit about tail articulations. Okay, so one, if you don't have a horse you can stand behind comfortably, and I think all of you do. I think I have the most dangerous horse here. No, I can stand behind Chester. I just choose not to. Um, so the tail. One, what's really cool is that you're going to learn more about your horse's tail. Tails get ignored. You know how I talk about the pole gets ignored, or what do I say gets ignored? Legs get ignored. The tail gets ignored too. Okay? The tail has a lot of cool information in it. And what's interesting is that if you follow Is Your Horse 100% by Margaret Hinkle, she talks about fascia. She says that you can think of the tail and the head as the ends of a candy wrapper as far as fascia. Okay, so think about like your Tootsie Roll or your hard candy wrapper. So the face and the tail have the twisty parts of the candy. Okay. Um, and so she says that the face holds trauma in the fascia. And again, I like to say along with that, I don't know how you prove that. I don't know how you come up with that, and I don't know how you prove it. But I have released some pretty crazy stuff in the face. And so I'm not gonna poo-poo that until I have reason to poo-poo it. And then she says that the tail fascia and tension can affect hind end movement. Okay. There's another person who has said that the tail is a reflection of the spine going forward. Okay. So I messaged that person and said, can you please give me more information on that? Because I like the idea of it, right? Because it is the spine that comes out of their body. So I like that idea, but I'm going to need a little bit more. Like, can you tell me more about that? She didn't get back to me. So, yeah, cranial sacral to the spine. Yeah. Um, so I want more information on that, but I want us to think about the tail as a very important part of the horse's body. Okay. And what's super cool is that I've done tail work on horses and had some pretty amazing results. So one thing that you can check with your horse, here's the steps for the tail. And this, I've found some other cool things, so I'll tell you a really quick story. I massage horses, obviously, you all know that. And when I walk from one side to the other side, I just drag my hand around their butt as I'm walking around. Why do I do that? I don't really know. Because one, kind of want to let them know I'm walking around. I like to keep my hand on them, da 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 da. But what I've found is that as I drag my hand around their hind end, my hand tells my brain that tail is tight. That tail is loose. That tail this, that tail that, okay? And so if I drag my hand around the horse going around and their tail clamps down and their butt goes, no, don't touch me. What is that? That's tension. It's tension. Like we can try to be really fancy about things and say, well, that's this and this. It's tension, period. Okay. And so then I walk the other direction. And do they clamp down? Is the tail soft and loose? Oh, I like that. Okay. So as I walk around, my hand is gathering information about the horse. If I hit that tail area and they go, no, don't touch me, I go, oh, okay, let's fix that. You don't need to feel like that. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, and this is where we're going to start for our homework, put your hand at the top of the tail and just gently comb down it. What does that feel like? That should not bother your horse. If it does, you have a lot of tension built up in the tail. Okay? Then you can kind of cup the tail. This is all letting the horse know that you're going to work on the tail. Okay? Then I like to pick the tail up and slide my hand down the inside of it. Now, this is really nice because down the inside of their tail is skin, not hair. Okay? And what your body is going to start learning when you're doing this is, oh, there's what am I learning? Well, one, does the tail have a funny S shape? I bet you'll be surprised. Okay? I would say 25% of horses, their tail is so tight it's in an S shape. Okay? So now I'm on the inside of the tail. Do they clamp it close to their body like, please don't touch me? I don't like this. Okay, that's tension. So now you're like, okay, you're tense, no problem. Let me help you. Okay. So you've kind of gathered that information. If the tail's loose and light and they're like, yeah, do it, and they lift it up, that's a great sign. Okay, that's a great sign. So if you have a horse that's like, no, don't touch me there, we're just going to bring our hands underneath the tail and gently squeeze the tail. Step one, gently squeeze. Slide it down 2 inches, squeeze. Slide it down 2 inches, squeeze. Now you're gathering information. Where is it tight? Where is it loose? Because generally it's not the whole tail that's tight. Okay? So you're sliding your hand down, squeeze, slide, squeeze, slide, squeeze. Okay? One time when I was walking behind a horse like that and I felt the tail, I felt toward the end because they had it in a braid. Oh, there's like some burrs in there. And I was like, that feels weird. There's some burrs in their tail. So I'm gonna for sure get burrs out of a horse's mane or tail if I find them. I'm just going to. I don't care if it takes extra time. So I start looking at that tail and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the vertebra. So the tail had gotten stuck in something and it ripped the bottom two vertebrae off that horse's tail. And what I was feeling was the tip of the detached tip of the horse's tail. And I went, hey, can you come on out here, please? I need to show you something. Okay, so owner came out right away. I said, you need to call the vet now. Why? Because that leads to the spine. Okay? Call the vet now. So she called the vet. They gave antibiotics. I've seen other stories where it got ripped off higher and the horse actually died because an infection got put into the spinal cord. Okay. So that's kind of why I'm against braids. And sometimes when you'll see I braid George's tail, there's like 10 braids. I have this idea that if her tail gets caught, like it'll just rip them out individually instead of like one big rip. I don't know. I'm hoping I never find out if that is correct or not. But that's how I found that. Okay. Because I was just walking behind the horse and touching. So that's how you're going to loosen that part up of the tail. Now, as you're going down, I want you to make a mental note of where is that tail tight. Okay, because sometimes what you're going to find it's either at the very top by the tail dock or it's at the very tip. Okay. I also, doing this work, found that, oh, this is interesting. I've never put this two together. So remember I was telling that story about how the tension traumas saved in the forehead or the forehead fascia, and then the tail and the forehead or the ends. That same horse, I'm going to talk about the same horse. I found some pretty serious reactions in the face of that particular horse. And once I got it out, she released for like, I don't know, 4 minutes straight. Okay, and I was telling the owner about how this woman says that the trauma is stored in the face fascia. Okay. That same horse, and I actually have photos that I'm gonna put up for you guys, had her tail would go down and it makes this S curve and then it has this like kink in it. And so I was doing this squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. And then what I found is I came to that tip of that tail and I found there was that kink in it. And I was like, that's pretty strong kink. It's pretty strong. And so I messaged the owner and I said, hey, she's got a big kink in her tail. Um, has she always had that or have you ever noticed it? And she said, yeah, she's always had that. I was told that she broke her tail. And I said, okay, that's good information. So I'm gonna keep, that's not gonna stop me, you guys. Okay, I'm still gonna work on it. So I start working on this tail with the tail articulations. And I start working, I keep moving that around. I straightened the tail out. That tail was not broken. It wasn't broken. It was the fascia the fascia had clamped that tail up. So it had just kind of got off course and couldn't get back. With the tail articulations, that tail was straight after that. And so I said, hey, I want you to check out your horse's tail next time you're out there. Tell me what you see. And she couldn't believe it. And so that's an example. And I mean, it's kind of crazy, but think about it. Could you imagine? That is life-changing. It's not a big deal. I'm sure she didn't really care too much about her tail having a kink, but that's crazy. That's amazing. So pretty cool stuff, as far as I'm concerned, that massage can just make a huge deal. My rescue kitty has a kink tail. Hey, be careful, man. Cats that got claws. That's all I'm saying. Cats got claws. Cats are a different animal. Okay, so you've done the squeezing all the way down. Okay, the next thing I want you to do is the actual articulation. Okay, so you're gonna hold one part of the tail, and then you're gonna go right below that, and you're gonna go front, back, left, right. Front, back, left, right. And how does it feel? I'll tell you what, it should feel pretty equal. Front, back, left, right. Front, back, left, right. Okay? So then go down 2 inches. Front, back, left, right. Down 2 inches. Front, back, left, right. Front, back, left, right. Now, what you're going to find with most horses is there is a tight spot. Okay? So if you're doing front, back, and it doesn't want to go forward, just kind of gently wiggle it forward. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Okay? Georgia has this like little, I call it her little piggy tail. At the very tip, it like sticks like that. And so when she puts her tail up to run, it like curves like a little piggy. It's not cute. And so I tell her that. I'm like, baby, it's not cute. And Chester's like, you don't have a beautiful tail like this as he runs with his little Arabian tail flapping in the wind. Okay. So with Georgia, the back toward me is really good. But when I try to get that tail to kind of go toward her body, not so much. Okay, so and side to side on her is really good. Okay, so as you're going down, front, back, left, right, what does it feel like? If you find that you're going down and all of a sudden it doesn't want to go forward, then just kind of gently kind of work it a little bit, asking it to move forward, and you're going to find it loosens up really nice. And then sometimes you can do the squeezing again and then wiggle it forward. Okay? Because you will find that a lot of times those little tiny vertebra, 18 to 22 coccygeals, will get kind of jammed in together and they just kind of can't move. So when you wiggle them, you kind of start introducing some space in there. Okay? So you're going to do front, back, left, right, and then kind of work that out. Now, the other thing I found out with that particular horse that I was talking about with the broken tail was that she had an S curve, and I'm going to put up some before and afters of that horse's tail. Is that her tail curved in an S when I picked it up and put it over her back like that? It did S. By the time I was done with the tail articulations, that tail was straight. Okay, so that's one thing that you can take a look at and see if you pick your horse's tail up, is the tail straight? Okay, what you got, Paige?
Yeah, thanks. So can you quantify how hard or far you're pushing the tail front, back, left, right? Is it pretty minor or are you
Yep,
moving?
it's pretty minor because they're little tiny coccygeals are only about that big. Okay, and generally they'll say the space between is 1/8 of something. 2 centimeters, 1 to 2 centimeters at the most. Okay. So it's a tiny movement and it'll be equal. Okay. So somewhere on the tail, you should be able to find a freely moving coccygeal. And I would just base it off of that. So yeah, millimeters. Yeah, thank you. It's really just, it's a little wiggle. Okay. So you'll get a feel for it when you do it. And based off of what I know about Havana's tail, she is not tight, but you never know. Okay. But based off what I've seen of her tail so far, she's not going to have any issues. Okay. What's
Okay, yeah,
that?
I accidentally played around with it a couple weeks ago and I didn't move it very much, but she really liked it. She,
Yeah. It's
she
funny how they like different
she's like,
things. Yeah.
yeah, do that again.
Do that again. Okay. So yeah, play around with that. If you guys find that your horse is very, very tight, this is going to be, I mean, I have to do this on Georgia once every 2 months, once every 3 months. If we do some serious work like rodeo season, I'll be doing it more. Okay. Because she just runs intense. It's just how she runs. So she needs more work. Chester's got a great tail. He actually uses it all the time to wave to the neighbors and tell everybody how pretty he is. Okay. So Georgia does not. She uses it for balance and that's it. Okay. So yeah, check that out. That's the tail articulations. It's quite fun. You're going to learn a lot about the horse's tail. And you're also going to learn, if you have multiple horses, George's tail is very long compared to most of my clients. So you'll kind of notice a very quite a variety in tail lengths. Okay, it's just kind of fun to know how different they are. Yeah, that works too, Sandra. Yeah, sometimes I place Stefan's tail across my arm and pick my arm up to loosen the tension. Yeah, it's a great idea. Um, geez, who was it? Was it Masterson method? They said, oh yeah, it was Masterson method when he's teaching the points under the tail. He's like, oh, what does he say? He says something about lock your wrist out because their tail is so strong it can move your hand or something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly, but their tail is very strong. So it's interesting. Okay, so those are the tail articulations. Let's talk a little bit about tail pull. One thing that I see is that I want them square. Okay, because we're pulling their tail. I want them square. as square is, it doesn't need to be perfect. Don't let it, ruin your day. Like I just couldn't get them square. Georgia does not like to stand square whenever I'm trying to get her to stand square. So, I go, fine, I'm gonna pull the left side of your spine right now. That's your fault, you know? But get them kind of square. Don't have like one leg out or something like that. And what I want you to do is do not put on cowboy magic before you do this. The dirtier the tail, the better. You can go flying into the wall. Okay? All jokes aside, don't do it. Do not get them clean before you do this. Okay. So you're going to gather up the tail. I do traction with the pads of my fingers underneath the tail. Ooh, that's a great idea. Traction. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Everybody give that a try. That's a bonus. Okay. It's a bonus for this week. So gather the tail up. Don't pull the vertebra, please. Hair only. Okay. So gather all the tail up. I want you to get them situated. And this is the way I want you to do it. I want you to introduce the idea. And then I want you to lean back. And then I want you to wait. And what is generally going to happen is they're going to go, oh, yeah, that's good. And they're going to lean forward. Okay. So if they start stepping back, they just don't understand and it's okay. And if you've taught them to back up by pulling on their tail, it's okay. They will know the difference. It might take them a couple tries, but they will know the difference because you don't release. So therefore, Maple loves a tail pull. Good. I want to see him shine this week. So they will know the difference. Don't worry about that. Okay. So you're going to gather the tail, hold, lean back to where you're comfortable, and then gently like sit your butt back. Okay. And then they're going to go, oh, that feels really good. And they're going to stay in this position. Okay. And then they're going to enjoy that moment. And then when they are done with the tail pull, they are either going to step sideways or they're going to walk out of it. I want you to gently let go. Don't drop them on their face. But if they step sideways, I want you to gently let go of them. So you kind of have to get your feet back up underneath you and you have to kind of give it back to them. I don't just let go of the tail. I go, oh, I got you, buddy. Or it's funny because they'll be like enjoying it. They're like, this is amazing. And then they go, okay, I'm done. And they like walk off. When their head goes up and they start walking off, they're done. Okay. Jen says, if they're a tail clamper and tail articulations aren't an option because they won't give you access, what then? Do the tail pull first. Tail pull first. Because they're so tight, the idea of that is like, nah. Because those vertebrae are probably just jammed up in there. Okay, and then you're coming along and you're messing with it and they don't want you to touch it. So you do the tail pull and it's like, okay. So try that. And then more breaks and, reward. Just take it easy on 'em. Okay, go ahead, Leanne.
I just wanted to share that Buckaroo always clamps his tail. And what I start with is massaging his whole tail dock area first. And then he will start raising his tail himself. And that's kind of permission to go underneath again. But if I just went and, I mean, his tail's so strong, my hand would be up into his butt. So but he responds really well to just loosening the whole tail dock area first before you touch his tail. So I don't know if that will help, but that's what I do with him.
It absolutely will help. That's a great, great piece of advice. 100%. Okay. Thanks, Leanne. Okay. So tail pull. Yeah. And listen, What's really fun, and it's not like I want this to happen because that means their tail was really stuck. But sometimes when you're doing this, you'll get like a kink, 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 like it unlocks. It's been stuck. Okay, so don't be worried if that happens. It happens. But I've found that horses really enjoy this. And when they kind of put their head down and like lean into it, it's super fun. Now, if you're losing your balance, that means you need to sit down more like you're in a chair. Okay? Because I've noticed that some people take this a little bit easy. This is a big animal. You can you can sit down on that. So what I just want to make sure that you're doing is that you're doing it in kind of like, like it starts here and then you sit back and it gets really like you're kind of, doing the pull and then you gently let them out. Just don't go, caca. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's the tail pull. That's a good one. And I would do it, I don't know, maybe twice at the most. I've found if they release into it, once is enough. I don't normally do the tail pull more than once unless like they really had a big reaction to it, or they really enjoyed it. Okay. Okay. Last one. Spine wiggle. I have a video for this, so I want you guys to watch it. I want to do something with this. I've never done this before. I've found that with the spine wiggle, there's two issues with it. People either go too fast or they go too slow. Okay? So, spine wiggle. You're going to have one hand at the dock of the tail. Okay? And it needs to be up higher. Did I put a video up of this? Because I feel like I'm repeating myself. Okay, good. Okay. Your hand needs to be up high at the dock of the tail. Okay. You're going to be standing to the side. So the horse's butt's going to be here and you're going to be here. And your hand is going to ask their body to move like this. Okay. So let's all do something together. I want you to sit in your chair and I want you to go release everything, relax, back and forth. Get a sway going from the bottom of your hips through your rib cage up to your head. I want it to be like an S. Oh, some of you guys are restricted. Okay. I want it to be, so start at the bottom, work your way up. I want you to feel the S. Okay. Now go faster. You see how that does not feel good? Okay. Now go too slow. Do you see how you lose the rhythm? You lose the flow if you go too slow. And then if you go too fast, it's like you can't relax into it. Okay? So I want you to find it. And then like really start going like, now is that part of my spine moving? Is that part of my spine moving? And then you can play around a little bit with the speed. Okay? So yeah, it's going to be one hand. Yep. Okay. So I've never done that before. So I hope that helps when you're out there doing it, because the main things that I see is that either they're going too fast and the horse like can't quite get it, or it's too slow and it's losing its rhythm. Okay. Those are the two things that I'm noticing. So what I want you to, and the other thing that I think is going to help is you need to prime the pump. Okay. So get their little booty going. And then once you get their little booty going, you're going to speed up a little bit. And I want you to focus on getting the spine to move. Okay. The tail is of no consequence. The tail is literally the handle. Okay. So I want the spine to move. So you're going to have to get them going, especially I remember Adobe. I think it was last year. It's like his booty is so big. Okay. We love big booties, but geez. And it was like she couldn't quite get that booty going. And I was like, you got to give it a little more oomph. And so she got the booty going, and then you got to relax a little bit. Like you can't always be pushing and pulling too much. Okay. So you got to get it going and then refine it so that it like flows with the horse. And what you're going to be looking for is that spine going all the way up their body. Now, you can find that a lot of times the spine is locked down in certain areas. Okay. The loin is one area that it gets locked down. The withers can be a little tricky sometimes. And then at the end of that snake, their little nose should be doing a little tiny baby circle. And I want their eyes just, okay. So think about that a little bit as you're kind of moving their spine. Now, if you find that their loin is where it's locked down, go do some rubs around that area. Okay. And then sometimes, and I don't mean to be more advanced, but some of you have been with me for a while. Sometimes the hand that's moving the tail is doing this. And then I go and I find that area that's locked up and I kind of get it going a little bit. I ask that little area to loosen up just a little bit. I'll put a little pressure, you know what I mean? Like I'll get it moving a little bit. That's more advanced. So if this is the first time you're doing it, don't worry about that. But sometimes you need to kind of help out the area that doesn't want to move. Right? Okay. There will be a video. Yeah, there's a video. There's going to be multiple videos because I'm going to put more up. You'll get videos of it. Don't worry. Okay. I think I have one up. Yeah. Okay, good. Somebody's on top of it. This time it's me. Yeah, what you got, Leanne?
I was just going to say it's helpful, particularly if you have a taller horse, to try to get your video camera up higher so you see down their spine, because you may not be able to see over their butt. And then you can look at the video and, preview it and then say, oh, maybe I need to do it again. Because I know with Adobe, when I first did this years ago, I actually had my husband up on the fence because I couldn't see his spine at all, what was happening.
Oh, okay.
Because of my angle when I'm working him. Now, Mystic Knight and Ellie, I can see down there. Buckaroo, I wouldn't be able to see down his spine from behind him. So I just know that video angle is helpful for you to visualize it yourself and then maybe do it again if you can't see their back where you're at.
Yeah. And remember, the story is also told in their nose. Okay. So if their nose is going back and forth, that's not it. It's a little circle. Okay. That's great advice. Thank you, Leanne. Perfect. Okay. So awesome. This is the final videos, 3 videos. Next week, we're going to have our finish up, and then I'll offer, help for those of you that want to need help in certain areas. And then we're also going to have a free, free week, wild card week, we'll call it wild card week. Whatever you want to go back and see how, whatever you struggled with, we can do that again. Okay. So any questions so far? Any questions? This will be fun. It'll be fun to find out. I'm tall and long, so that's how I see it. No, you're standing on the side of them. Okay, so you're at their hind quarter, their butt on the side, and then their tail is here, and then you're doing this, and you can just look forward to see their nose like that. Okay, so you're not behind them because behind them would be like you'd be trying to do this and it would be really difficult, but it's really, and I'll tell you what, I can do this spine wiggle with my right hand pretty darn good. Left hand, not so much. So you're gonna have a good hand and a bad hand. That's okay. Yeah, if it works, it works. That's one thing. I'm picky about some things and I'm not picky about others. And I'm not super picky about that. And I'll be super honest with you. I've been to the point where I would do it on both sides because we have a tendency to be sided, right? So I would do it on both sides. You're going to find you're not good on one side though, unless you're a superhuman, which you could be. Um, but sometimes I've done the tail pull and I've incorporated it in. Okay. So when you're comfortable, you can start doing some wild stuff like that. But just learn the move first and then go from there. Okay. Yeah, it's just back and forth because what you're trying to do is you're using the spine, the tail, as the lever to get the spine to wiggle. That's what you're doing. That's the point of it. Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. I tell you guys to stay really high at the tail. Sometimes, and you might see this in some videos, so I will clarify. I will use the point of buttock instead because it's the same thing. I'm trying to get the spine to wiggle. So I'll take the tail and I slide in between the points of buttock. So my hand is here and I'll use the point of buttock to get their spine to wiggle. Okay. But I feel like to teach it, it's easier at the top. Okay, good questions. Good questions. Anything else? Okay, cool. That's it. Look forward to it, and we'll be in touch. I'll have some videos up for you guys, all right? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. All right, perfect. Thank you. You're welcome. No problem. All right, have a good one. Bye, guys. Great job. Keep it up.